All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful and honestly most misunderstood tools in the SEO world. We're going to demystify the Google Disavow tool. Think of it as this incredibly strong digital shield for your website. But you have to know exactly when and how to use it because getting it wrong can be a real disaster. So let me just start with a question that, probably keeps some website owners up at night. Could there be links out there, links you don't even know about, that are actively damaging your site's reputation right this very second? Just picture this for a second. Imagine your business, your professional brand, suddenly getting linked to some really shady operation down the street. That's exactly what bad backlinks do in the digital world. They create these toxic connections that can seriously pull your reputation through the mud. So before we even get to the solution, we really have to get a handle on the problem itself. Let's talk about the hidden threat that these bad links pose to your entire SEO strategy. So what are we talking about here? Well, people call them unhealthy or toxic backlinks. And these aren't just links from some random blog. No, these are links from the sketchy corners of the internet. We're talking spammy, low quality, or manipulative sites that basically scream to Google, hey, this site we're linking to might not be trustworthy either. And trust me, the impact here isn't just theoretical. This is real world stuff. You could see your search rankings just fall off a cliff. Or worse, you could get a manual action from Google, which is basically a direct penalty. And over time, this all just tarnishes the credibility you've worked so hard to build. Okay, so that's the scary part. But don't worry, there is a defense. Google actually gives us a tool to fight back, its own digital shield. And that's the Disavow tool. A really great way to think about this tool isn't as some kind of weapon. It's more like a polite request. You're basically just going to Google and saying, hey, see these links? I didn't ask for them. They don't reflect who we are, so please just ignore them. Don't hold them against us. It's kind of like a reputation manager for your website. But, and this is a huge but, it's a reputation manager that comes with a giant warning label. You absolutely have to use it with extreme caution, because if you misuse it, you can cause way more harm than you're trying to fix. And that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? When should you even think about using this tool? Making this decision is probably the most critical part of the whole process, because this thing is a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. Let's use a traffic light analogy. You've got a green light to really consider using the tool if you've gotten that dreaded manual action notice from Google, or you see a sudden, massive drop in your rankings that you can trace back to bad links. For pretty much everything else, it's a yellow light. You need to be extremely cautious and definitely don't use it for just, minor spring cleaning. And I really can't stress these cautions enough. Number one, if you accidentally disavow a good link, one you just thought was bad, you can seriously hurt your own SEO. It's a last resort, okay, not the first thing you try. And it is absolutely not a magic wand that's going to fix other, deeper SEO problems your site might have. All right, so let's say you've weighed all the risks, you've checked all the boxes, and you've decided, okay, I have to do this. Now we need to walk through the process itself. And the two words to keep in mind here are precise and careful. The whole thing really breaks down into three clear stages. First, you have to do your analysis. And this is the most important part for sure. Second, you create the special file that Google requires. And third, you submit it. So stage one, analysis. Before you touch anything, you have to play detective. This means doing a super thorough backlink audit, looking at every single link. You need to analyze your rankings and traffic to see if there are any patterns. And you have to check Google Search Console for any messages or notifications. You can't skip this groundwork. Stage two is creating the file. Now, this might sound technical, but it's really simple, as long as you get the format perfect. It's just a plain text file, a .txt file. You put one link you want to disavow on each line. And a pro tip, if a whole website is spammy, just use domain:/spamsite.com to block the entire thing. It's also a good idea to use the pound or hash symbol to leave comments for yourself, so you'll remember why you did it months later. And finally, stage three is the submission itself. This part's pretty straightforward. You just go to the Disavow Links tool inside your Google Search Console account, you pick the right website, you upload that .txt file you so carefully made, you give it one last look, and then you hit submit. So you clicked submit. Big sigh of relief, right? The job's done. Well, not quite. Hitting that button is not the end of the story. In fact, the work is really far from over. At this point, you've got two paths you can take. There's the wrong way, which is to disavow and forget. You just cross your fingers and hope for the best. And then there's the right way. You actively monitor your site's health and you focus on building good, positive links from now on. See, the right way requires an ongoing strategy. You've got to keep monitoring your backlinks to spot new threats. You need to watch your rankings to see what impact your submission had. It's even a good idea to review your disavow file every so often. But most of all, you have to pair this defensive move with a proactive focus on good, clean, white hat SEO. So when it all comes down to it, remember this. The disavow tool is an incredibly powerful shield, but it is not a magic wand. It can protect you, but it demands careful thought, precision, and a real commitment to your site's health. So the question you have to ask yourself is, are you prepared to use it wisely?